All right. It's recording or not, I'm not sure. It is recording, fine. So I have already shared now. Okay. So Python collections, data types, or whatever you want to call, you can call them tuple. You've seen that it can take variety of datas. And here is another example, which we are having a string, and to identify a tuple, you have a round bracket. You can see that there is a round bracket, and I hope I'm not muted. Yes, I'm good. Yeah. Okay, again, it is running for the first time. I have created actually another sheet. So notebook, sorry. So this is what we have, length and types and all that we have already seen, but we have not seen the Boolean part. So we can have the Booleans also, true, false is Boolean. So it will be a tuple only, but we have with a Boolean or with a mixed of everything. So it can have something like this. Now we have, let's say, I can take another one and then I can slice it. I want to show you how we slice. And let me have a tuple. Increase the size. We have a list with a range command. We have used a range command, and I can we check it. 1 minute before I add. Okay, t is equal to range 0 to 100 with a step of 2, and type of this is range only. So let me see if I can convert it. I don't have to actually give mutable and immutable type sometimes create a problem, but it's okay. So I have created a range and then I have converted into the tuple, and I can now simply I don't have to use it. I needed actually more data in this. Let me put here and we have the data here. All the even numbers you can see, and now I can slice. Slice is actually taking out part of the data, and now I find it has it's equal to t, and if I give 0 to -1, it computes everything. Print length of s t first and then s also. Now print s. Let's see. Last is left out, so s is having one less. 0 won't be there, I think. Let me print s. One is left out, so it is there, one is left out. Last one is left out, 96. Yes, it was 98. So last is left out, -1 is not considered. So it's okay. 49, my work can be done. So S, if I give 0 to -1, this is another way of slicing. You're taking from 0 to the last. Now what happens, like if you have a data, but you do not know that how many elements are there in that. So what you can do is you can use this minus and then end of the data can be plot. Okay. So you can take that last clear -1, simply -1, not knowing the last address of the data. So you can use -1. So it will come. Okay. Now let's have it now. S1 is equal to E 1 to 5. It's giving some error. So let's see. T is there. We are taking from S. You can see whatever the error. Oh no, it's going into the text. I want. That's why it was showing me red. I have to put a code there. Okay. S1 is equal to S, and I want 2 to 5. Suppose 5. Close it. Print S1, S1. Can be done with any, okay, whether it is tuple, whether it is a list, or whatever it is. You can see that 468 they have come out. Address to 5. Let me count the address for you. This is 0 is 0 only. 0 1 2 3. So 0 1 2 3, 2 say starting from 2 3 4. Fifth is always ignored, the last is not taken. So 2 to 5, that means 2 3 and 4. If you want the fifth element, so you have to give 6. Okay. Now again, S1 I'll take is equal to S, and leaving this and see what happens. All the elements, if I don't give anything before the colon, that means all the elements. And all the elements will fine. And now again, what the right. So from 40 till end of the file. So S has only till 96. If I use T, then it will be 98. The last element will be 98. Okay. So this is what we can how this is how we can slice a tuple or a list or anything. Slicing is same, whatever you want, not with the dictionaries, obviously. Now how we delete. So let's see. We first save. Now let's go to the delete part. So we have what S and S1, and we have T. Okay, T is there. So let's print why we want to print. I want to just simply delete S. Now if I print S1, simply deleting everything. It does not exist. So name S1 is not defined. That means the variable S1, the container you can say, is already removed. It's not there. Okay, gone. S1 gone. I did not want S1 also, but I can remove a part of it also. So S we have and T we have now. We have S and T. Now I want to actually just remove some part of this. I can do that also. Empty it also. Let me have. Okay. I say T1 is equal to T. I'm storing a copy of. We have a copy command also. And I'm not using it. Say T1 is equal to empty list. Int. See, the difference between del is it removes the variable itself, but if I say T1 is equal to empty, no elements, that means those elements will, but variable will still be there. Okay. I want to drop something. T1 doesn't have anything now. So now we have a T and S only. So suppose print, let me print T first. See what we have in T. Okay. Now I'll store it. I can do it. Already I have S, so I can use this only. T2. We have first let me print what is there in on T2 and then I'll remove it. T3. Okay. T3, that's fine. 6. Okay. Now in sorry. T is equal to empty. Tuple object does not support item assignment. See, you cannot remove just like that. Item assignment is not possible because it is immutable. Right? So we have seen this, so you cannot do it. So let the error be there so that you remember. And now I'll move it until LT3 print and see it is not it does not support item deletion. No, it is there. It does not support that also. Fine, good. You can do this with the list. Okay, now you can remove the entire thing or you can slice. So what I can do is I can slice the objects and then I can keep it, or I can simply del the I print it now, then it will be gone. So it is not possible in couple selected items elements, but you can slice them. So slicing is possible. T is not defined now because T is deleted. Okay, so go in error. So no issues. So you can see that it is immutable, so you cannot do something like this also and something like this also. So it doesn't support uh, item deletion and doesn't tuple doesn't not support item assignment also. That's not possible, but you can actually slice it. So slicing we have already seen, so we can slice and so now we come to list and see some working with list. List we have done already, but it's okay. Few more things, some additions, something we have not covered. And Create a list. To create a list the same way I created, I can separate with a common null. That is the theoretical part. I can go through it. I can use a range command to generate a list also, and for that also I'll have to change. Here was I created here. I just want to actually save my time. That's all efforts to type. Let me reduce this. Give 5 is equal to, and I can give list is there, and t now type print t print type of. Okay, so now it is a list. So I have a list now, and I can do whatever I want with this. So indexing, there are two type of indexing we know already. One starts from 0, one starts from 1, 0 and minus 1, sorry. So, but I have put it here so that you can remember also. Same thing we have done already. So negative indexing and positive indexing we have. That we already know. Print first element, dot format L minus 1. So this is the last element actually, not the first. It's the last element. Put a range, a length command. Last element is not there. Something I missed. L is not defined because I have not found L. It is actually not L, it is T. I have to change it here also. It is not L, it is T. Where is T? Here. And here also it is T. Okay. So what we have done is we have printed in the reverse order, and this is the last element, that is 95. And for I in range, the range command I have used -1, starting from -1 and goes to -1, that is 0. If I put 0, what happens, I'll show you. And yes, I'll keep both of them. Both of them, you can differentiate. 0 here. The last element we have found, and for I in range is -1 to 0, and length, whatever the length of t is, from a +1, and I have put it in minus. Okay, because I wanted the reverse order. So it is in reverse order. You have seen it is -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So it will give me the minus. Show you actually. Argument 3 must not be 0. That's okay. It cannot be 0. 1 or -1. It can be 1. It can be 1. In this case, if I give 1, then the steps won't come. See, only 1, -21. Last element 95 and -21, but nothing is printed. Nothing will be printed. Okay. The reason is you are giving her -1 to 1. And length is -21. It won't work. So this is what we have to give. -1 to -1. -1 to -21, sorry. -1 to -21. Just -1 to -21 with a step of -1. So it is all taking in the minus actually. So everything will be in minus, -1, -2, -3. These are the addresses which is going it is going to take. राइट सो ये वो एड्रेस लेगा माइनस से जो माइनस में शुरू होता है -1 2 3 4 all in minus till -21. Let me print that for you. Minus 21. See, we have used T. I think we have used T here. List index out of range. Okay, one is left, one is the 0. This is the first element. We put first element. That's why I have added +1. The reason for adding +1 is if I don't do it, then 0 won't be printed. See, it has missed 0. So I have to put +1. Here I have to add 1 so that it can include the last value also. Okay, fine. Now, again, now let's see how we delete here. Deleting actually dropping is very important because when we take the data and the data which is not relevant, it has to be dropped or deleted or removed, then it is required. So first of all, it is T1 is equal to T. Let me store it. And if I say del again, T1, and I try to print T1, will tell me that it does not exist. Okay, T1 is not defined. It does not exist. That means it is deleted. Now, since assignment is possible, so let's see. T1 is equal to we have removed T. That's okay. So again, T1 is equal to T. T1 is equal to T again. Now, if I say T1 equal to NT and try to print now T1, see what we have. So this was with the tuple also, so no issues with this. But assignment to the specific cell was not possible. Now, let's try the other part. T1 is equal to T. T1 print T1 third element. Okay. T1 T. T1 empty. Actually, you can see that it is empty now. Okay, it is not replaced, but it is empty. So the element has gone, but in tuple it is not allowed. It is not possible to remove that. Now, well, we have to do now remove all the occurrence of an element from a list. Number of times one element occurs, it has to be removed. Repeated elements I want to remove. So suppose I have we have used for loop. Now I'll be using while loop. So we have a list with some elements which are repeated. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 is repeated. You can see now input enter a number to be removed from the list. If you want a particular number to be removed from a list or a repeated element, you can use this one. I'll see and read it while in L. We have a command called remove. Okay, so L dot remove. Then we can simply print. What I'm doing is I'm actually iterating through the list. I'm moving from one element to the other. Check if it is there while n in L. That means as long as it is there, the end number I have entered is in L. We have to repeat the loop, one element at a time. The moment it finds the element, it removes it using remove command. So let me run this. First, I'll run it. Then you can understand how it is working. Suppose I want to remove 2. Let's see. Okay. So 2 is removed from this list. How it is removed? Because we have said while n in L. As long as L, that is 2, exists in the list, you just remove by using L dot remove n. That is only from the list remove 2. So remove command can remove the element I want, and as you can see here, it was empty which was inserted, or instead of the number, this empty thing was inserted. Now I can use this simply as I showed earlier also. I can simply remove all the duplicates using a set command. So what I do is I convert the list into set. You can print and then again convert into a list, and then I'll have a list which will have no duplicate elements. You can see that. It's very simple. But that is only when I have to remove all the duplicates. But if I want to remove just one element, I have to use the above command. This one. So this will remove a single element from the list or repeated also. If 2 occurs 3 times, it will be removed altogether. Or if let's say if I give only one number, let's say 7, which occurs only once, so only 7 will be removed once. So it searches, it is more flexible. List is uh, converting a list into a set is useful only when you have to remove a large number of duplicate elements. Okay, you can use index also to remove. Repeat using index. Index is the address of any element. Other options also. So you have a list, then you have printing, then L1, 1 del L1, and it will be removed. Okay, so we have a list, then L1 is equal to L1, that is we are storing the element, then del L1, and then we print, and then we say del L minus 1, that is the last element, and then we can print and see the output from minus 1. This is minus 1, that is the last element which is removed. Okay, then we have interesting thing up, about the element. A pop actually has come from data structures. I'm not sure you have done C or not, but in data structures we have push and pop. Push is to insert the data and pop is to pop out. And from a list, from actually from the stacks, pop is used to pop out the first, the last element. It is leafer, last in first out. So pop command is used and push is used to insert. So it works on last in first out. The last element which is inserted first is popped out first. But here we have a different command. We have simple pop command to remove an element. So let's have this. And slicing definitely we have. So the elements 1 to 9, duplicates are not there. Yes, duplicates are there. But you have 3 to 4. Pop minus 1. Last element. Pop 0 is the first element. So 3, this goes here. And minus 1 is 9 goes. So simple pop command also you can use. So L dot pop, and you can pop out. That is for the list if we have. So in a list you can actually remove like this. So you have different options. You have del. Also we have simply assignment operators, or you can use a pop command. Okay. Now removing a slice. You can remove a slice also. Like slicing we have always seen. Uh, let's see how you remove a slice. In a range you can remove. So like you have given L2 to 4, you can use it. I have the code with me, so I'm just pasting it. Okay, we have a list, 1, 2, and repeated elements are there. Print, then L0 to 3, print ls, then del L0 to 3, delete from 0 to 3, and you can see the elements. Then print L6 to all the elements, then print delete from 6, that L minus 3 and the colon, and the will be removed. Let's see. You can see 0 to 3. These are the elements here. These are 1, 2, 3. Delete from 0 to 3. 1, 2, 3. First 1, 2, 3 gone. Now it is 2, 4, 5, 7 and all. Then 6. Delete from 6 till end. From the sixth element till end. Slicing, it is just slicing. It's not actually deleting. It is just not taking the data. Like kind of deleting. Looks like deleting, but the original data set, if it is already stored, it is there. But since we are taking only a part of it, so that slicing also can remove the data. So minus 3 till beginning. So you can see that 245, what is left was 245. So you can have different elements, and you can do that different ways of doing things. Delete command, pop command, slicing commands. You can remove, or you can simply remove all the elements. Okay. We have a command called clear. We use clear command. L is already there, but it's okay. Need code. So we print L and see what is there. Then L dot clear and print L and see. It's not empty. So you have clear command also to remove all the elements, or you can simply have equal to and parenthesis, square bracket. Okay. So this is there. Now let's have a list, and then we'll just add up and see, or append, you can say. Whether it adds or appends, we'll see. Is append actually. Okay. We have one list with numbers and the other with a mixed data type B. One is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. The other is 5.0, girl, 2 plus OJ, that is a complex number, horse, and 21. If I say C is equal to AB, so what you get is addition. That is, it is concatenated, appended. So one list is appended into the other. So you can use this command, and you can do something like this also. C0 is equal to C0 plus 4. Now what happens now? It is 4 is added to 0. Element at 0. That is 0. It was 0 only. So it will be 4. You can add. Then we have range, we have already seen. You can exchange also. These are all single dimensional. We have multi-dimensionals also. 15th element. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, we have list. We already have list. So let me print and see. Or I can create one. This is empty, so I'll have to create. Okay. Okay. Now I want to exchange, and this is interesting. Now you can say something like swapping. What I'm doing is L0, L minus 1, two elements I'm giving. What I'm doing is L minus 1 goes to 0 and L0 goes to L minus 1. You can give two outputs here. So L0 has 1 and L minus 1 has 12. So if I say minus 1, 12 is stored at 1 and 1 is stored at 12. This is what, instead of 12. This is what we are trying to do. See, output. This 12, this 1 is replaced by 12, and this 12 is replaced by 1. Okay. So we have a swapping also, or exchange also of the elements. And then comes your multi-dimensional list. Before that, I have to put more than one dimension. I'll show you, you'll understand. We have something like this. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, ABC, true, false, and true. So we have here, there are square brackets, 3 square brackets, and they're separated by a comma. So in the first is the row 1, then row 2, and row 3. It's not necessary to have same elements, number of elements. See, to access this, you can use the indexes, but domain dimension indexes are there, and I want to append hello, how are you in L. So now let's see. Okay, so now we have 4 rows. 0 row has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 has ABC, 2 has true, false, true, and the third, and the other one, that is the last row, that is the fourth row, has hello, how are you. Indexing starts from 0. The first element will be 0, 0, then 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, then 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. I'll show you. Instead of saying, I'll have to show you. Let's do it. And L 0 and 0, and L 0, 1, 0. I'll print 1, 0. Int L 2, 0. Now let's run. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. One more is required. L 3. Okay. So first 0, 0 address is of 1, then 1, 0 is of A, and 2, 0 is of true, and 3, 0 is of hello. So it works like 0, 0, 0, 1, and so on. The rows, columns, this is for the rows, this is for the columns. So you can print, you can slice, you can do whatever you want. Okay, now we have something called extend. So you will see what will happen if I extend it. L0 dot extend, and I put in a square bracket some elements, let's say 7, 9, 10, 11. And I don't want to put in quotes. See, it has extended. That means it has appended in the first row, and it is not necessary that all rows should be of having the same number of columns, right? So now row 1 has more columns than the others, It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, and 11. And others have different numbers. So it is possible. So that is not an issue. And you can extend with anything. You can extend with strings also. You can have multiple data types, so you can do that also. Right, you can have something like this. I can access 0 0 L 0 0 index out of range. Yes, 10 is not there. 10 is not there, so index is not there. How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll have to give 9. It is starting from 0, so I have to give 9. The key is out. So you can give like this, and you can find the length. You can find the length of a particular row also. So L0 length is 10, so that's why 9, 0 to 9. And you can use for loop to print also. You can use for loop. You can see. Now, this is a bit tricky. This loop is a little tricky. The reason is they do not have same number of elements in every row. First row has 10 elements. Then we have, I think, 3, 3, and then 4. 3, 3, and 4. And 3. 3, 3, and 3. So the length is not fixed. So what I have used is uh, length command with range for I in range length L, and for j in range length Li. That is what is returned. So first loop is for the row. I'll write it. This is row. This is for the column. For the row, and this is for the column. So first row it takes into I, that will be 0. By default, if I don't give anything in range, it will be starting from 0. So from 0 to length of the first row, it is total length actually. And then you take in the next line, you have a length of Li. Li is the first row, then second, third, and the fourth. So 0 row, length of 0 row. So from 0 to range of the length, that is 10 in this case, in the first row case, and then you print ij and is equal to quotes, that is I want on the same line. And then you just have to print. This print statement is actually to change the line, change the row. Otherwise, what will happen? I'll show you. It is whenever we are printing a matrix or a double dimension array, we use another print statement to change the row. Otherwise, what will happen? Just see. It will come on one row. It will come in one line. Everything will come in line. So there will be no feeling of a row. We won't be able to understand that there was a row. So we use a print statement to have a carriage return, to return or to have another row, to change the row. You can see that here also. Okay. So आप कर सकते हो, उसको use कर सकते हो. We have this thing, and this loop you have to be little careful about the length. If it is not of the same length, then I cannot fix. Otherwise, I could have given a I in the range 3. Right? I will show you what it is going to return. Print करते हैं. Length of L. Length of L is 4. Right? It will return 4. 0 to 4. And when I say print, you can always actually expand that and see range of length of L, which is coming in quotes. So I have to remove the quotes. I press something, okay, run it. It gives you, oh, sorry, range 0, 4. Okay, fine. So I first is 0. So 0 goes here. Length of I. Now let's print it that. Let me print length of L 0. I'll print of every one, two. This is what is range is going to return, right? 10, 3, 3, 3. This is how it works. Fine. Okay. So first it is going to return 0. So length of row 0, that is first row, is 10, which is there, you can see, and now it can work properly. Okay. So we have arrays also. We have arrays, but we need a module for that, and we have not used any modules as such of now. So we'll be using that. Arrays are not encouraged actually Python, but we have arrays also. So you need to call them and import that module. So when you have to import a module in Python, what you use is we use import. There are thousands of modules in Python which you can use to ease your work, and one of them is this also. But array, as I said, is not encouraged, but it's still okay. You can have the array, we can import, and then we have given you the syntax array.array. We have to convert it actually into, right? And value type you have to give what type of value you want, that is index, sorry, integer, or what you want. This is the value type I, value type, and now I can run index. It's more complicated actually, so why would anybody use arrays? But since it is there, so I'm just showing you. This is Unicode. I can give you also. I, U, ABC is U, Unicode. Okay. You can have the numbers. I, we can have D also, decimals. You can have the binaries. You can have the binaries using B command. So binary 010001. Then again, you can have instead of 01, you can have true false also. That is Boolean. Sorry, B is Boolean, not binary. You can have binary also. Okay, and I we have already seen. I is for integers. So you can create an array like this, but just an example. You won't be needing actually these arrays, and normally we don't use it. So you have a lot of other things to use because they are more flexible, but still you can use, and you can use the arrays using a Numpy module also. There are two modules which are very important, and we'll be taking them separately. That is Numpy and Pandas. Without that, nothing works actually as far as data is concerned. So we import numpy as np, and this actually np could be anything. It's your user defined, but normally everybody uses np. So it is always better to have a conventional way of doing things so that people can understand. So you can have here is equal to np dot array.
So,
Yeah,
so could you explain the previous code, previous one?
which one? Which one? Tell me. It's array wala.
Array wala, sir.
Okay. So arrays actually we have we can use this one, this option to create an array. Array dot array value type and the data. Value type is actually your integer data type you want to have. Okay. So in this case, in this example, I've used I array, import array, array dot array, and I, and the numbers you have given that, and then you can print it. 1, 2, 3, 4. The array is created like this. If you want to use an array, you can create an array like this. Then U is for ABC, Unicode. Okay. Yes, just printing for array for J in here. It is like the
So,
list. Yeah, 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 yeah.
so there should be int, right? Instead of
No,
I,
no, no, no,
value type.
no, 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 no. It takes only one character. It takes only I, U, D,
Okay,
B. You can see that.
okay,
It,
sir.
it's not required to give everything. First character is good enough. I, Unicode, U, D for decimals. Then you have binaries, Boolean. Sorry, binary Boolean. Boolean actually 0 1, and then we have true false also Boolean. So you can have like this. You can create like this. Printing is similar to your list or set or any other thing similar, but you can use numpy also to create an array. There you don't have to give the value, the type of value. You don't require value type. Let's simply print here. I've done it earlier also. We have to see the type. It is generating. You can see numpy array, n dimensional array, 2 3 5 1 6 8 7 9. So you can generate using numpy. Then you can convert a list into array.
Sir, why numpy is necessary? We
By
can
numpy,
do normally also, right?
what?
We can create an array
I'm
like
just
before also, right?
You can create an array like
Like before you have created.
that is yeah, that is there. That is an option you have, but you'll be using normally numpy. In most of the codings, you'll be using numpy and pandas, but you don't use arrays actually in Python. You don't require arrays. You use list, you use sets, you use data frames, you use dictionaries, more dictionaries and lists. They are the most common actually. So arrays we normally don't use at all. But it is just because it is there, and people are used to arrays. So that is why we have put here also. Won't be using it. That is for sure. You don't. There's no need to use it. But you have different ways of creating. You can use arrays dot array, or you can use this. But in this case, it is the syntax is little complicated, and in NumPy you can create directly. That is one thing you can do. So different ways of creating arrays, and this is another way you can convert a list into array using NumPy. This is a list, and you have created it into an array. and that may be required in cases, in remote, in rare cases where you have to convert a list into an array for some computation purpose. Okay, so that, but that will be very rare. But in that case also we'll be using numpy only, np.array, and we can convert it into the certain cases. As they will come, I'll explain to you the cases where I may be using only arrays, and in that cases the data will be in my data frame or my list type, so I'll have to convert it. You can use linspace command, and linspace is start, stop, and n is the number of elements you can give. If you don't give anything, it will be by default 50. Like you have range command, you have linspace command also. And again, it can be like numpy. You can use numpy to create linspace, and you can see that it will be uh, generated, and what it creates, you can see the linspace function is there to create a list. You can see that type guys, it will be numpy. If you are creating something using numpy, the numpy has to be there. You can see that it is array, numpy array. So linspace you can use 1 to 10. So numbers will be generated. Start, stop, we have not given any. So I can give start, stop also, something like this. Start, stop, and a number of elements. This is number of elements, not the step. Step as in case of range. In range, we give step. This is a step. In this case, it is number of elements between 1 and 10, because it is in decimals, right? So we have given like this. We can give print L. You can have 1 to 10, 10 number of elements only. So 1, 2, 3, and so on. It is generated like this. So it is array only, and as we did earlier also, array is already imported, so I don't have to. And you can see this. I can convert it into array. This is a list. This is array. Okay. This is numpy array. This is array. And I can ignore. It is already showing you, but I can show you the type. Type particular thing. You can say that this is array and this is numpy array. Not much of a difference. Only change, most of the changes in the syntax only. But array will be array only. Then we have a log space also. Again, sorry, not here. Text, clean space, log space, different options we have. This will be taking log, okay, logarithm of the numbers range we are giving. The start 10 to power start and 10 to power stop. You have to give like this, and let me clean that. LG is equal to log space G number of elements, okay, number of elements, and LG. Okay, it is 1 minute. I'll have to 10 to power start. I want it. I'll have to convert it into some format. Let's see if I can do that. It should come now. This I'll change. That's not a space, not an issue. 10 to, yeah, 10 to pass start, 10 to pass stop has come. That's fine. Uh, Now next space, let's see. And why it is giving you error, that also will show you. Some space, you can see invalid syntax. There is one extra bracket. Okay, generated. Now we have again a way of converting it into array. And let me first see the type of LG is. Okay, this is ND array, numpy array, and I want to convert it into array. So I have decimal places are there, so D is there. It is converted now into array. So different ways we have. You can slice the arrays, you can print, and let me show you how we access. How I am going to print and how I'm going to slice it. This is how I can print simply. I in air print I element. So you don't have to worry about what is there on the left hand side. That is the type value, type it is showing. Data will come. You can slice it also. You can slice it also, and you can store the slice and then print that also. So it is more or less the same. Working is almost the same. ARR is equal to AR 2 to 5 from second element to 5, and you are just printing that. It is actually putting all the elements. 2 to 5 is 27, 46, and 77. This is what we have done. We have put it here and printing one by one. That is accessing one by one. We have another command that is a range. Like we have range, we have a range also. This we have to give start stop. A range function also can create an array. That is again numpy. So we have a start, stop, and step. And if the first and third arguments are omitted, then start is 0 and step is 1. np.a range 1 to 10, start, stop, and step. Like you have range command, you have this command also. But the numbers returned are 13579. That's okay. But now if I see the type, you find that it is numpy. Because we have used numpy, it is now numpy array. Right? You can convert it back to uh, क्या कहते हैं, arrays using again array.array. This is integer only, so I have to give I and it can be converted. Then we have zeros, ones also. Zero matrix if you want to create. We have numpy.zeros. Zeros, you can see 6 zeros will be printed, and ones also we can have.
So,
Yeah,
can you again, or could you again explain a range?
a range. I'm coming to that. I'll just put a range is similar to your range command. Okay, but here we are using numpy here. List, you can create a list, you can create a numpy array using a range, and range say you were creating a list. Now what we have done here is you use numpy np.arange 1 to 10 start, stop, and step. Right, that is the only difference here we have. Again, range also has the same thing. You have the start and the stop. Here also we have the start and the stop and the step. Right. In this case, what we were using was number of elements, log space and lint space. We were using number of elements which have to be generated. Here we are using numpy to generate a range of numbers, and you can see this. Now, if you check the type, it is numpy array, in dimensional array, single dimension only, and I want to convert it into array. So I have to use array.array. I am the variable which I've used, that is n, and it will be converted into your array. And you can check the type also. Now here R. There is one more R in that. You can see that it is now array. Okay. So then this is a range. Then we have option to generate zeros and ones. Now, this, why would anybody like to generate zeros and ones? This is actually, sometimes you need masking. Masking is required to filter out certain data. So in cases where masking would be required, zero is uh, false and one is true. So 0 1 matrix you can generate, true false matrix you can generate, and you can actually filter out the data using a mask. So we'll be using this sometime in future, masking. And in transformers we actually get a mask, we generate a mask, and that is used to filter out the data. Otherwise also you can use. So you may be requiring zeros and ones to generate a mask, and in this case actually this is your numpy array, but you can always convert it to any type you want, right? So let's take a look. Otherwise it is already there. Okay, it is already your array, so you can keep it like that only. The mathematical functions that we have already seen, so I'll just the multi-dimensional arrays we have. If you have any other questions, you can always message me once you go through it. So multi-dimensional array, as we have seen earlier also, it has rows and columns. So in NumPy, you can use NumPy to generate a multi-dimensional column using certain commands like stacking commands also we have. And otherwise, you can generate simply a multi-dimensional array, and you will see how it is done, right? So let's see. Now I'll just create two arrays. One is A, one is B. And I'm just putting in between. I have to put actually A with a beach with a better I want. A has 1, 2, 3, and B has 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have A and B arrays, and now I want to create a multi-dimensional array using a command. We have a vstack, that is virtual stack command, which can be used to create a multi-dimensional array. See this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I want to check the dimensions of the array. So if I want to check the dimensions check the dimensions. I want to check the dimensions. I can use shape command. Okay, print the array. See the shape. It is a numpy, so it is actually numpy array. So 2 rows, 3 columns. First row 0, second is 1, starting column 0, 1, 2, as it was earlier, right? So we can use a v stack command to generate a multi-dimensional array from 2 arrays, right? So we can concatenate the arrays also. Concatenation also is possible. Let's see how we concatenate. We concatenate the arrays. Okay. We already have the arrays A and B. So to concatenate, we have horizontal stacking can be used, and we used earlier. We used V stack. Now we'll be using H stack. Instead of V stack, I'll use H stack. Vertical concatenation and horizontal concatenation. If I do horizontal concatenation, so it will be in one row only, and can print c dot shape. The press part with collage is it returns the command for you. See, it has 6 columns only. There are no rows. 0 rows, 6 columns. There's 6 columns there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Horizontal or vertical concatenation. You can have. Now the difference between list and arrays. This is what I think we were looking for. Very quick.
Sir, it should be 1 comma 6, right?
No, it is 6 0. You can see the shape. I'm not giving the shape myself. 6 columns है ना, rows कहीं नहीं ना उसमें. Where are the rows? Horizontal is horizontal concatenation is there ना, 1 2 3 4 5 6. It is one row.
Okay, sir.
In this case, yes. In this case, it is 2 rows and 3 columns. That is there. But that is vertical concatenation. In a horizontal concatenation, it only returns number of elements, and the other is blank actually. So there are no rows. You can see this. Otherwise, how it will come? It will come 1 2 3 4 like this. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Not 1 2 3 4 in a row. Okay. So we just have to see what we are actually looking at. The difference क्या है इसमें? Okay. Now difference between list and arrays. We don't need actually anything for list. There is no separate modules required, but for an array we need another modules. Now arrays can store data more efficiently than lists. Definitely it has more options, but lists are used most of the time, or we use actually data frames most of the time. So for if you want to do any mathematical computation, then arrays are required, but list can handle mathematical um, operations, and it has multiple actually. Uh, you can say that multi-dimensional. These are multi-dimensionals, but arrays are not multi-dimensional. Sorry, multi. You can say it can store different type of data types. Data types can be there. Multiple data types can be there. Okay. List can have multiple data types. Arrays can have only one type of data. That is also there. Okay. And list can have the mathematical computation directly also, and we can see that, and we can convert the arrays, the list. The list can be computed into an array, and we can see that also. See some example. We have a list, then we have converted a list into array. That is np.array, that is 278 910. We have now two, one is L, one is AR. Now operator AR by 2, print operator OPL L by 2, again same thing. Now let's see what is the difference. See, array, we could do it, mathematical operation we could perform directly on the array, AR dot divided by 2, but you can see OPL L divided by 2. If I do unsupported operator types for L, for divide, list and integer. Okay, so it was integer, and we are trying to divide it. It won't work in this case. So mathematical operations, if you want to do that, is what I was saying. In some cases, in computation, data analysis, if I have to do some computation on the data, then I normally will have to convert it into an array, and then I can perform my calculations on that. But if I don't have any mathematical things, or I want an range of elements with different data types, then list is the best option I have, list set or whatever, and any containers. But arrays, if required, when we have some mathematical computation which we can perform directly on arrays, which is not possible on list. I'll have to convert it actually, and then I can use it. Okay, so strings we have done, and that we have already done. We can have a look now. Okay, we have covered a lot, so we need some time, I think. Let's go through it once again. We'll have to take a small break so that you can have a look at these things, what we have done, and then 10 15 minutes again we'll be meeting. What is masking? Oh, Samir, masking is actually, have you done any image processing? Have you used any
No,
uh,
sir.
not image processing, actually I use the wrong word. Have you used any tool to clear the background of an image?
Um,
like,
uh,
like we
no.
photoshop, we have so many tools these days. If you, even if you go to Instagram, it will be popping out with some tools for you to remove one person from the scene itself. uh, it is like, I'll show you some tool. I'll show you some tool. What I mean by masking. Suppose I have an image, like you have okay, green screen. You must be knowing about green screen. Green
Uh,
screen, green screen, white
uh,
Yes, sir.
screen.
Yes,
That
sir.
we know. You know? So green screen, what it does, I can remove that actually the green background because it is of single color, and I can put some other background there, right? So that actually is masking. What mask does is the area it covers, and then it removes that area, and then you can put any other layer on that. So it is layering. What we do in image processing in the data also. If I want to filter out, if I want to give a boolean 0 or 1, and I want to remove something which is true, I want to retain only something which is true, and remove everything which is false. So what I can do, I can put a mask and put there 0 1 0 1, and it will just remove everything. where it finds 0 and retains everything where it finds 1. So masking can be like that also, and masking is normally we use in this keyword mask is mostly used in image processing, but it is used for data also. Like I have data of 1 lakh records. I create a mask of 0 1 matrix of 1 lakh. It is randomly done. Okay, randomly I'm generating numbers 0 to 1, and I just put that matrix I had of 1 lakh records through that. I pass it through it. So wherever it finds 0, that particular data will be removed from my list. Only ones will be remain, and zeros will be removed. So that is where I can use the mask to reduce the data randomly. It may, but when I do it randomly, I may be actually losing out on the important information about the data. But that is when we are testing only, and we want to reduce the data instead of just removing simply just reducing the data set. I can put a mask, I can create a mask, and I can remove that also. In some cases, mask is required. In some cases, we just generate just to reduce the things. And in transformers, like we have, as I told you, machine learning, deep learning, and transformers mask is frequently used to filter out the data. But that mask won't be 0 1 binary mask. That will be on the weightage. Weights are given. How much weightage is given? Like suppose you have the students of your class. Let's say you have 400 students in a class, in a section one, like we take first year. You have 400 students and you want to filter out all those who have scored above 65. What I can do is I can create a mask of above 65, weightage of above 65. I just have to put it on the records, and it will retain only those who have scored above 65. Instead of using if else, I can use a mask also. So masking is something which is frequently used in data analysis. Okay, but I'll show you. I can show you, not an issue. I'll show you how it is used when we'll come to machine learning. You'll be seeing that how the mask is used, because weights will always be there. Weights will always be there, so it is not always 0 1. It can be anything else also. Numbers also, weights also. Right? So you guys just go through it. We'll meet in 10 or 10 minutes. We can meet in 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes you can have a look at what we did, and then we can continue. We'll just discuss the things we have covered. Because if I go ahead, everything will be very messed up. A lot of things are covered, which are the basics are almost I have done. There's nothing left now as far as basics are concerned. There's a little bit more which which is required, which we will be taking. Okay, so we can take a break for 10 minutes and then we can continue.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you share it again, sir?
Uh, I've already shared. Yeah, I'll share it. I'll share it. Acha, that na collab na. I'll share it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll share it. I'll share it. I'll just stop the recording and share it.